Hey folks, you're looking at JP and NPR Neda.
Hi.
And that's Coach Schwartz over there.
And that's
We're in the
me.
shade. And who's this? Jeannie came with us. Hey, great job, Jeannie. It must be the new shoes. It's like you're bouncing on air. And this is Santa Monica track, and it was really busy. There was actually a track club that met here and was doing laps, and
busier this morning.
yeah, they were putting in work, as the kids say.
They're almost as fast as Jeannie.
Jeannie was on fire. She's the blue bolt.
Jeannie, you want to do it? I'll do it. Let me grab the camera from Doug. We're going to film your dad. He's going to jump rope, answer questions, and talk about your favorite subject, boxing.
This one's probably mine.
Her favorite subject.
Yeah, she's really bored by boxing talk. I guess I can't blame her. I imagine she hears a lot of it.
So I was saying to Doug that right before we turned on the camera, Van Heerden was here. That guy,
Chris Van Heerden.
This guy is in shape.
Yeah.
This
yeah.
guy's cardio is ridiculous.
Well, this is his day off. This is his easy day, and he'll get on this track and run 6 miles at a 6-minute mile pace. And that's his relaxed pace.
This guy is really in shape. Seriously. Seriously.
How about Doug? He's in shape.
He is indeed.
Look at that. He hasn't been away for 2 weeks.
Straight off vacation.
Yeah. Glad to be back.
So if you guys have any questions, write in on Doug's Periscope. I see 15 people in. It's counting up now. Oh, there
Hey,
we go.
JP, it wasn't a busy week of boxing, but there was boxing from Tokyo.
Yeah.
Last night, or really just a few hours ago.
4 a.m. I was up.
Yeah.
And Doug and I were talking about how to find streams for it, but we got a new champion in boxing.
Yeah, the IBF minimum weight 105-pound title changed hands. It was held by Mexico's Jose Argumedo, a real rough and tumble character. You know, a guy with like 25 professional fights under his belt. What's the name of the Japanese kid?
Hiroto Kayaguchi.
Kayaguchi.
They call him the Dynamite Boy.
Yeah, he had 7 fights going into this fight, and he'd only turned pro 15 months ago.
Yeah, 8-0 now.
Yeah.
6 knockouts. It did go the distance, but he dropped Argumedo,
Yeah.
who's from Team Canelo. So
And Kayaguchi is, he's a body specialist, right?
he is a body specialist. This guy from round 1 through 12 was just digging into the body. Errol Spence-esque, so it was nice to see. So Doug and I were talking, there is now Ioka, Higa, Kayaguchi, Inoue, Tanaka,
Yeah.
Taguchi.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
They all won world titles before their 10th pro bout.
Incredible.
And of course, the monster won 2 titles in 2 different weight classes, I think by his 8th pro bout.
What a run for Japanese fighters
Yeah.
in the lower weight class.
They're having a... The boxing scene in Japan is really hot right now.
The question is rabbit punching allowed in May Mac? I mean, he's going to try to get away with it, I'm sure, but no.
No, I have a feeling the referee is going to be extra vigilant because Floyd wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, he wouldn't
I
have
don't blame him.
Is it Kenny Bayless?
Right. I do expect Bayless, yeah.
Who are the officials? Do we know?
They haven't been announced yet.
Okay, all right. So
It
they're
was
not
announced
yet.
that Conor McGregor was getting tips on boxing scoring or boxing officiating from Joe Cortez.
Huh.
Mr.
Okay.
Fair but firm.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know what he's telling McGregor, like, you know, or maybe he's telling him how to get away with dirty stuff.
Yeah.
You know, how referees don't see certain things.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, one thing about McGregor...
That's not very ethical if that's true.
No, that's true. One thing about McGregor from the MMA people that I respect, they keep saying he doesn't have good cardio in his MMA fights, which are
Right.
shorter fights. So I don't know how he's going to go 12
Yeah.
championship rounds with Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's
Yeah.
not planning to.
Like he's good for a round and a half.
Yeah.
And in the UFC, but those are 5-minute rounds.
Right.
And they're doing a lot of stuff.
Okay, so we got viewers added on. Coach Schwartz is going to start with his questions. If you guys have any questions about boxing for Doug, write in now on the Periscope, and I'll read them to Doug. Coach.
First of all, I want to thank JP for coming.
Thank you.
I mean, it didn't look like you were coming, but OJ was going to stand in for you.
Oh, jeez.
And he's so disappointed you came.
Hey, there was a line on that. There
Yeah.
was a line on
I
OJ.
called you because
Yeah.
I thought he was not going to get out.
Oh, you thought he was not going to
yeah,
get
which
out.
I was totally wrong. What was the line?
It was about, I think it was like 2.5. You had to lay 300 to win 100 that he would get
Yeah.
paroled.
Yeah.
So they did think he would,
Yeah.
and he was paroled.
Oh, look at him
Wow.
go.
Did you watch it?
I did. It was pretty.
I watched
it was interesting.
It was like,
Yeah.
you're such a sleazeball. I mean, just like,
He was so
oh my
argumentative.
God.
It was
It
like
didn't matter what he said or did. So here's the thing this week, though. I saw Steve Kim and Beto Duran did a stream
Thompson.
from Thompson Boxing. It was oh my
I gotta watch it. I
God.
gotta watch the
It
replay.
is so incredible. I think they had either 2 or 3 guys making their pro debuts. My favorite fights, having their pro debuts. It's really great. I mean, Steve Kim is so professional. He's so good. His time is incredible, and him and Beto Duran, or him and anyone, they're great. So it was a great show, and you can watch it. Just go to ThompsonBoxing.com, and you can see the replay. And then Doug and Steve did a thing on Ring TV, and
Yeah, that went live yesterday.
It was on yesterday.
That's Between the Ropes.
Between the Ropes which was their best one. It's really, really good. And then Steve Kim, I'm like Steve Kim's PR guy.
Yeah.
But then he did this thing with Mario Lopez.
3 knockdown rules.
I mean, that guy is
And
so.
he's got his podcast with Gabe Montoya.
Yeah,
so
which
he's-
I can't
he's
watch.
busy.
I can't watch it anymore.
You can't
No,
listen to it.
I can't listen to it anymore because I get a few good things. It's too negative for
Too
me.
negative.
I mean, and somehow I don't. And Gabe Montoya has really improved, but I mean they go off on Max and these guys. I don't get it. I mean, I think they just go positive. It's too much negativity. And even that guy that calls in, who's pretty
Jimmy?
funny, but even he was over the top this time. So I just like I couldn't listen.
So
to
listen to
it.
all Steve's other shows.
Yeah, but here's my take though. I've had a little. I've really analyzed the Canelo
Good questions.
Triple G
nowadays.
fight.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my pick. Triple G by stoppage,
Okay.
1 minute and 28 seconds of the 10th round.
Okay.
Okay, what's going to happen? This is how I see it. Before I thought, well, Canelo is so confident, and he really is confident. That's going to go against him because he thinks, and he's delusionary. So he beat Chavez Jr.
Good
no
pick,
big deal.
coach. They say.
And
No, but Canelo is very confident. I can tell. Both guys are
Canelo is so
supremely
confident
yeah.
it's going to hurt him.
Brooklyn
and-
agrees with you.
And there's resentment with both fighters. I could tell this. I did sit down interviews with them for the Mano a Mano feature, and I could tell they're not the kind of guys that come out and spew hate, because they don't hate each other. But Golovkin has resentment towards Canelo and the boxing industry just because he had to wait until he was 35 years old to have a mega fight, you know, to really be able to prove himself on this big of a stage. And Canelo's pride was ruffled. His feathers were ruffled. His pride was hurt last year when he received a lot of criticism in Mexico for dumping the WBC title rather than fight Golovkin on their schedule. And from hardcore fans and from the boxing media who hounded him about this fight before and after both of his fights in 2016 and before the Chavez Jr. fight. So it's built up with him, and I think that could be a good thing for fight fans. Both guys have they bring a chip on their shoulder. They're both super confident. Like when you talk to them, you can tell when there's doubts in fighters' minds. There's no doubt in Canelo's mind that he can beat Golovkin, and there's no doubt in Triple G's mind that he can beat Alvarez. But there's also a little bit of venom, behind that gentleman's veneer that they both put
How about
on.
in your mind?
What I mean,
Who's going to win?
I like Triple G.
Yeah.
He's to me, Triple G has been the real middleweight champ since Sergio Martinez was still the ring champ and the WBC title holder. I didn't think it was the Argentine. I thought Triple G really kind of hit his peak in 2013 and 2014. And really, since 2014, I've looked at him as the champ. I don't care who has the belts.
Yeah.
I don't care who's linear champ. I don't care who even has the Ring magazine belt. And I
Brooklyn.
work for the Ring. He's the man. And until proven otherwise, he's at the top of the 160-pound division.
Brooklyn.
He's the class of the division.
Brooklyn says jab and footwork. We're going to see the Triple G from the Lemieux fight.
Yeah, but you know what? Canelo's got an awesome jab.
Yeah.
And he's got good head movement. He counter punches well. He's a very good combination puncher. He's a very good body puncher. And I said it on the last Periscope, and I'll say it again. after Golovkin went 12 rounds with Danny Jacobs, who probably weighed 180 pounds, wasn't a mark on his face.
Right. Right.
Dave, you say this fight goes 10 rounds?
Yeah, I think it's going to be 10 rounds.
Let me guarantee you something. There's going to be some marks on Triple G's face.
There might be.
Ooh.
No, not Mike. There will.
I don't know.
There will be blood. And you know what? Canelo's going to be busted up.
It's going to be a rough fight.
No, it's
I'm
perfect.
all for that.
And you know, this time off for Triple G is really healthy.
Yeah, I think
in
so.
a lot, physically, mentally, and he's all ready. And I could see it. I went to the press conference, the one in L.A., and I could see that, you know, Triple G was second fiddle there. It wasn't about him at all.
Even the poster.
We went together, and I can see that Triple G was a little pissed off that you know that it's all Canelo. I mean, and Canelo really that he's so overconfident. He's overconfident, and I know that's going to hurt him. That because he really thinks he's going to go run right through him. So who'd Canelo beat? You know, so Canelo.
I agree with you.
So anyway, I thought it over, and I just think I am positive.
We're 2 months out now. So
what a fight that is.
yeah.
So
we got a coach question for you from Smelodies. Wants to know, Coach, what's your favorite boxing movie? It's a good question.
Oh, that's a good question.
$1 Million Baby.
no, I didn't like Million
What?
Baby. Yeah, I didn't like it. Even
A
though
good buddy of yours was in it.
it was all about him. In fact, I had 3 friends in that.
Yeah.
Dean was in it, Teddy and Don, and actually Clint Eastwood's character he planned it around. It was Don's character,
Right.
really.
True.
And what happened is our friend Don Familton was teaching Hilary Swank, you know, how to box, and Clint Eastwood was watching him, and he said, "Hey, I want to play that guy in the movie." And that's how that happened. So, you know, won an Academy Award. But I think Fat City.
Fat City, okay.
Fat City was really good. The Harder They Fall.
Harder They Fall's
That's
great.
my favorite.
That was really good.
Requiem for a Heavyweight.
Yeah, I can't remember that one, but
Check it out, folks.
Yeah, there's
The
a lot.
teleplay, the original teleplay, which was written by Rod Serling, and the film version.
Okay, let me ask you
Great
this.
acting.
What are the 2 worst boxing movies ever made?
Ooh, okay. Play It to the Bone.
Right, you got it.
And which was the one that Against the Ropes? The one on James
Against
Toney?
the ropes. It's got to be against the ropes.
Oh yeah, that was bad.
I couldn't watch it.
Oh, it's so bad.
But
It's so bad you kind of have to watch
Play
it.
It to the Bone.
Play It to the Bone. I've tried to watch it. I've never seen it from start to finish. I can't get through it.
James Bag wants to know, what is Dougie's opinion of the Sean Porter Randy Macho Man Savage video?
I haven't seen this.
Porter has this
is news to
video.
me.
Yeah, Porter has this video going around where he impersonates Macho Man.
Okay, that's all right.
We'll get back to you next week.
That's okay. I mean, he's getting in on the act. You know, hey, listen, Canelo Triple G was announced WWF, WWE style,
Yeah.
pro wrestling style, sensational.
He's getting
the
in on it.
Mayweather McGregor tour was kind of like, you know, sort of a page from pro wrestling, just over the top, just kind of,
Totally.
you know. But it gets attention, so
You know, what
anything that gets
you know what I
attention,
hear?
you know,
I
from
hear-
general sports fans, I like it.
I've heard people talking. They think they're going to do over 4 million buys
They
for
might.
that fight.
Hmm.
Is that incredible?
Yeah. Wow. If Mayweather McGregor was a movie, I would say it would bomb because all the reviews are already negative. Everything that's written about it is negative. But you know, even movies that everyone disses real hard, the opening day,
Yeah.
everyone goes to see it just to find out for themselves, and then word of mouth is like, no, don't go see it. It's as bad as advertised, and then the film tanks. But this is a one-shot deal. This is a one-night event, pay-per-view, no refunds.
But did you
So
see-
they'll, you know, even though everyone's saying this is garbage, it's
Yeah.
fake, don't bother.
Doesn't matter.
There's a curiosity
Yeah.
factor. So yeah, you might be right.
Dougie, oh sorry Dave, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Mythical matchup. This is a good one. Mythical matchup, Abeyabuchi versus Holyfield in their primes.
And both guys are in there. I kind of like
I
Ibeabuchi.
kind of do too.
Solid 245,
Yeah,
250, and
Bigger.
Holyfield in his prime as a heavyweight was between 205 and 208.
Right.
Yeah.
Dougie, best fight you've ever seen live?
It's either it's kind of a three-way tie. Corrales Castillo won.
Yep.
The first fight between Marco Antonio Barrera and Eric Morales.
Okay.
And the third fight, the rubber match between Israel Vasquez and Rafael Marquez.
StubHub.
Yeah, I was in awe. Laptop is going to do this fight justice, or their effort justice. That's kind of how I felt. But you know what?
Those are good
just for
ones.
sheer drama, sustained action, and brutal action and drama, Corrales Castillo won that 10th round. It blew everybody's mind.
We were watching that fight at Rennerek. You remember, Coach? And
Yeah.
and I said, they got to stop this. This guy's going to get killed. And a minute later, my jaw
His
dropped.
career was killed.
No,
Yeah,
I,
that's true.
What did I say after the fight?
Well, you said he'd never win another fight.
Right.
And then, I hate to say this, but as a gambler, when they signed that Claudia fight, do you remember what I did? I bet everything I could on Claudia.
Yeah.
Because I don't know. I mean, that was assisted manslaughter, what they
Fun
were
fact,
doing. to
where
put
did
him
that
in.
fight take place?
Claudia and Corrales?
Yeah,
I have no idea.
I have a connection to it.
Yeah.
Springfield, Missouri.
Was it in Springfield, Missouri?
Springfield, Missouri.
God, that was a brutal fight.
Yeah, it was hard to watch. I remember
Dougie, She-Hulk or Wonder Woman?
Wonder Woman.
Wonder
She's
Woman.
a goddess. Come on.
All right, Coach has got some questions. You guys
do.
can write in questions still if you have them.
Okay, so I'm going to give you what happened on this date.
Okay.
So,
And I give you the fighters.
yeah. Okay. July 18th, 1951.
I already know what it is. It's the rubber match, the third match between Ezra Charles and Jersey Joe Walcott. And Walcott knocks him out in the 7th round. I think it was a hook. And he became the oldest heavyweight champion in history. Maybe the oldest boxing champion, I believe, overall, at age 37.
Exactly.
37 was really old for an athlete in 1951. Not so much now.
Now it's like, that's when you start your career.
Yeah, yeah.
So that was pretty good, Doug.
Pretty damn good.
That one.
That's
Pretty
good.
damn
Okay.
good.
I know that date. And where did it I know where it took place. It was an old fight town, Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you got it. And what?
I think the first fight or the rematch took place in Detroit. I think they fought 4 times, and I think they all took place in those northeast old industrial fight towns.
Okay, I'm going to give you another one. The same date, July 18th, 1960. And the fight was in Denver.
Denver.
Heavyweight fight.
Okay, all right, I know. It's the rematch between Sonny Liston and Floyd Patterson. No? Was it the first fight between Sonny Liston and
Now
Floyd
this
Patterson?
is a guy
Is it
who's
Denver?
Yeah, it was in Denver. It was Sonny Liston.
Huh.
KO3 was.
KO3? But,
yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm
You
going to
got
tell
it.
you.
You got it.
Zora Foley?
You got it.
Zora Foley, top
Yeah.
10 contender.
He was
Very
right.
good. He was the last fighter Ali fought
Yeah.
before his exile from boxing, basically.
And that was one of Ali's best fights too.
Yeah, he had just hit his physical peak. That was
Yeah.
1967. Yeah.
Wow. Well, you do.
Yeah.
You know, you have a future here, Doug.
So I'm wondering, okay, if this fight was that was 1960, really?
Yeah.
So that was before he won the title. That was before he got the title from Patterson.
Okay. So speaking of that, I'll give you.
Denver.
Okay.
Wow. Yeah.
July. Okay, you're right. Okay, July 22nd, 1963. Oh wait, yeah, okay. July 22nd, 1963. The rematch.
Okay, this is probably Liston Patterson.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, when
So
was
yeah,
it?
gosh, so you know what? Liston was ready to beat any heavyweight in the world.
Yeah.
Like 2 years before he actually got a shot at Floyd Patterson's heavyweight title. Yeah, he basically cleaned out the heavyweight division. the top
Did you ever watch him jump rope?
Sonny Liston? Yeah. He went on. Did he go on the Ed Sullivan show?
I think he
To
did,
skid
yeah.
rope
I think
to-
he did, yeah.
To Night Train or some
Okay, so
rhythm and blues song.
when was the first fight with Patterson?
I don't know. I think it was it in late 1962?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where was it?
Oh gosh, I don't know.
So
Think.
it was in Chicago, Comiskey Park.
Chicago.
And this is what happened. I have a friend, Mark Brody, whose dad was a boxing writer in Milwaukee.
Okay.
Okay. So when Patterson lost that fight, remember he put on the glasses?
Oh, right, and a beard, a fake beard.
Yeah,
to
fake
hide,
beard. And what
yeah.
did he do? He got in a car. He drove right to my friend's house in Milwaukee and stayed there that night.
That must have been a trusted sports writer.
Yeah. He stayed at his house.
What a story.
I know.
Yeah.
Okay. July 22nd, 2006. A guy who became a champ that's not very good.
July 22nd, 2006. Was it in welterweight?
It was welterweight.
Carlos Baldomir.
Yeah.
Upset decision over Zab Judah.
Well, no, this is
Zab Judah made that guy.
he
Gave
did.
him a career. Hey, and he made nothing from the Judah fight. That's why, Judah was the undisputed champ. He had 3 major belts, IBF, WBA, and WBC. And Baldomir was only rated in the WBC. For some reason, he was the WBC's mandatory. He only paid sanctioning fees for the WBC because he was like, this is my last fight. This is my last payday. I want to keep as much money as possible. I think he only made like $70,000. And after taxes, after manager's cut, after trainer's cut, his cornerman,
Came
and
out
then
with $2,000.
well, exactly. That's what he's thinking. He's like, I got to take something. I'm done after this fight.
Yeah.
He wins the fight, and he gets. Now he doesn't get to take all the belts because the other belts were like, you don't pay us, you don't fight for our belt. So the IBF just continued to recognize Zab Judah, and the WBA declared their title vacant. But he defended that WBC title against Arturo Gatti, who's totally finished, totally shot, beat him up.
Yeah, beat him up.
And then he gets Mayweather, and he actually makes 7 figures.
Unbelievable.
Yeah. But he should
and
send
he
a
was
fruit
bad.
basket to Zab Judah every Christmas, right? Because Judah half-assed it.
Remember, we used to watch Baltimore?
And then he blames his promoter. Man, the promoter had me out going to press conferences and doing interviews. He said that on Showtime. I got an effed up promoter.
And then-
I'm thinking, that's really what a promoter's supposed to do, Zab.
And then Baldomir fired Emil.
Yeah, Amir Clark Russo.
Yeah, remember we used to watch them train in La Brea? Baldomir was.
And I was never impressed. Not 1 minute of 1 hour in one day of watching Baldomir train.
James Begg says Canelo sent Baldomir straight to hell.
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, like as a 19-year-old. That was nasty.
Doug, who wins? Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury.
Man, I tell you what, listen, we don't know if Tyson Fury's ever going to fight again, but if he does, he gets his hearing with UCAD and gets licensed by the British Boxing Board of Control and get an interim fight, like a tough guy where he goes rounds, like between 8 and 12 rounds, knocks that rust off. I think he's a threat to any heavyweight on the planet because he's so awkward, he's so mobile and versatile and unorthodox in that ring, and so giant at the same time, and so underrated ring IQ, and his confidence is insane.
Yeah.
I mean, he's not afraid of anybody. I could see him beat Anthony Joshua, but the way Fury's life is going, he's getting stressed out. He's been out of the ring so long. He's talking about retiring or never fighting again. So if he's not mentally with it or in it, he can't beat a guy like Joshua because Joshua's dialed in.
Dougie, mythical matchup at 135 or 140, Valero versus Costa Tszyu.
Ooh, I got to go with Costa Tszyu in that one. Yeah, he's too big, too sharp.
Okay.
And it's just that elite amateur background that he brought to the ring. And that's one of Golovkin's edges against Canelo is that elite level amateur career and the experience from that he brings to the ring. And Costa Tszyu had that. He was a world amateur champ. He could have been an Olympic gold medalist had he not turned pro prior to the 92 Olympic Games. But, yeah, Valero was a natural featherweight, junior lightweight.
Okay.
His power was awesome, so he could go up to lightweight. He probably could have kicked some ass at 140 pounds, but not against a Hall of Famer like Zab.
And Costa's son is a fighter now,
Yeah, Tim Tszyu.
and supposedly fights a lot like him. I
He
haven't
does.
seen him,
He's
yeah.
not as sharp as his dad because he didn't have the extensive amateur career.
Right. Okay, Coach.
Okay. July 20th, 1982, it was his last fight.
July 20th, 1982.
Yeah, his last fight was he retained his featherweight title.
Huh. 1982.
1982. He was incredible.
Is this Salvador Sanchez? against Azuma Nelson,
In 82.
Madison Square Garden,
Yeah.
and it went to the 15th round.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Zuma Nelson was nobody,
Right.
you know, but obviously he had something to do that to the great Sal Sanchez. Yeah, wow.
Groves versus Eubank, Coach and Doug. George Groves versus Chris Eubank Jr. They got to fight other people first, right? Yeah.
Yeah. I think Eubank's got a tough first draw in that World Boxing
Oh,
Super
that guy
Series.
can fight.
I like that guy.
The Turkish tank.
Yeah, I like him, you know, but I think Eubank has awesome talent, and I don't know. I think I would edge Eubank in that fight, to be
Okay.
quite honest. I like his chin.
Dougie
I like his
Burchelt.
stamina.
Burchelt versus Loma. Gotta go with Loma.
You got to go with Loma.
Yeah.
Come on, but it's a fight.
It's a
I
good
think
fight.
it's an interesting fight because Burchelt is so tall and rangy, and he can
Right.
box. Boxers don't like to face guys who are moving around. So if he can box a disciplined game plan the way he did against Takmiura against Loma, then he makes Lomachenko have to kind of come out of character a little bit and become a hunter.
Right.
And when boxers who like to lay back and be the hunter sometimes have to go out on the hunt, they make mistakes because they're not used to doing it. So, hey, Burchelt can punch, man.
Jose
Burchelt would have knocked anybody out other than Takmiura. That guy's insane.
Coach Jose Napoles versus Mayweather in their primes.
Easy.
I mean, I loved. You know, I can't stand Mayweather, but he's so good. He's so defensive. Napoles was great.
Napoles was defensive
I mean,
too.
Napoles was really good. I can't pick a winner in that fight. I'm just
Napoles.
hoping for Napoles. But
Watch Napoles' fights with Hedgeman Lewis. That'll give you an idea.
Right.
I was there.
The guys who taught Hedgeman Lewis how to box, they're the ones who showed Mayweather Sr. how to box. So
I was at that.
and
fight.
Hedgeman did a lot of
that stuff.
Hedgeman-
yeah.
Michigan fighter. You know what I'm saying? If he fought in this era, he'd be like a super champ.
No, Hedgeman was great, and I was at that fight. It was at the Forum, and it was the highest price ticket ever, $50 ringside.
Oh, that's outrageous!
Yeah, and they had two big main events that night. But I remember Mayweather though. You know, I was at the Corrales fight when he fought that fight, and I mean Mayweather used to be really entertaining.
Sure, at junior
At
lightweight.
the
low
lighter
weight,
weights,
yeah.
and I just don't get it because there's no appeal to me for Mayweather at all.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's why he had to sort of create a polarizing personality. He kind of took Hector Camacho Sr.'s game and took it to the next level.
Is it polarizing
Yes.
to you? I
No,
don't
to
know. It's
the
all-
public.
It's all boring.
People
to me.
either
I don't even get it.
people either rah him or they hate him. That's polarization.
I know, but I don't even.
There's,
I don't get
it's
it.
to extremes. Yeah.
I mean, it just seems. I don't get it at all. I
It
don't,
works with
I-
sports fans. People were
Coach.
the same way with Hector Camacho. They hated him.
Coach
They paid to see him lose.
Coach Broner or Garcia this weekend.
That is a good fight. I mean,
Doug and I were talking about it before.
That is really a good fight. I mean, Broner's really good, and Garcia, I mean, he's good too. I don't know. It's a hard fight for me to pick, but I have a lot of respect for both of them, and I can't pick.
Here's
who
what
do you like?
Well, I like Mikey, but I'm hesitant
Mikey
now
by decision.
because you like Mikey by decision.
Yeah, I think it's a tough fight.
But what's interesting is Doug and I were talking. They opened the line far too high for gambling when it first
Yeah.
opened. They made Mikey 9-1, 900 to win 100. So all the money's been on Broner. So the casinos are going to need Garcia to win. But now it's down. You can find Mikey for like 275.
Yeah.
So might have gone too far in the other direction now.
Yeah.
But it's a very interesting fight. But
Maybe
Doug,
there's some camp reports of Broner looking awesome.
he's in shape, and I also think
Maybe
you
he's
don't.
at weight or on track to
And
make
you
weight safely.
never get him as this big an underdog.
But Mikey Garcia is really good.
Yeah.
So I just rethinking that. I like Mikey Garcia by decision, but it's going to be a tough fight. And
Broner's tough.
Broner's real tough, and Broner comes on strong in the later rounds.
Yeah.
But I think Garcia is really solid.
We've got a couple minutes left. Doug, how about where's Pacquiao rank for you all time?
He's top 50, top 40.
Okay.
He's not. He doesn't crack like my top 20 or 30 for modern
Okay.
all-time greats. And I know he won 8 titles and
Right.
8 divisions, but in an era where there's 17 weight classes and 4 major titles, and You can be recognized as a champ even if you don't have the hardware as Pacquiao was. I mean, he's an amazing story. He's the greatest, arguably the greatest Asian fighter of all time, definitely the greatest Filipino fighter of all time, one of the greatest southpaws of all time, an awesome competitor. You know, what helps his legacy is that he fought Marco Antonio Barrera and Juan Manuel Marquez and Eric Morales. You know, when Marquez was in his prime, when Barrera was still pretty close to his prime, and when Morales was not himself, not the same, but still dangerous enough to edge a still sort of developing raw badass like Pacquiao in their first fight. But taking on the three Mexican musketeers like that's what, to me, that's what builds a legacy. And it doesn't bother me that he was like 1-1-1 in that 3-fight series, which took place in, like, you know, the span of 2 years or 18 months, right? It doesn't matter that he lost to Eric Morales. That fight was sensational. And Morales is a first ballot Hall of Famer. All three of those Mexican fighters are first ballot Hall of Famers, so it doesn't bother me that he had a draw against Marquez. He put Marquez down 3 times in the first round and rallied late in that fight, you know, and obviously blowing out Marco Antonio Barrera, who is arguably great. He's awesome. That's awesome. So what Pacquiao did at featherweight and junior lightweight, that to me is sort of the nucleus of his legacy, and he's got a legacy. So
I like
he's one of the best of his era, just like Mayweather is, just like Bernard Hopkins, you know, just like so many fighters.
I like the Margarito fight.
Oh yeah, that took a lot out of him.
He beat a big guy in there.
Yeah, he beat the crap out of him, but I think training, the sparring that he did for that fight, and the duress he put his body through, I don't think Pacquiao was ever the same after 2010.
This guy says people are backing Broner because he's getting some work with Crawford in the gym. I didn't know that.
Wow.
So, okay.
I'd pay to see that sparring.
So we're right around 30 minutes, Coach. You got a few more?
It's a long show.
I have a lot more, but I think we've probably gone far enough. Yeah. So how'd you do betting this week, JP?
Went well. We backed Kayaguchi.
Kayaguchi!
Yeah, Kayaguchi.
What was the price on that?
He was right around $20 to win $10.
That was good.
So he was around -200. So that was the one player of the week.
Yeah.
I'm still a little bitter about the Pacquiao decision a few weeks ago because I thought he won. But 1 week at a time. This was a good week.
Who do you like in the rematch?
You know,
Killing it.
I wouldn't back Pacquiao with the type of money I did previously. Let's put it that way. It wasn't fun to be in Hawaii and get that news.
Oh, yeah.
It was like, Jeff Horn.
Yeah.
Jeff Horn can't fight.
Yeah.
Sorry, anyone who's watching in Australia.
Yeah. Apologies to the land of Oz.
Yeah.
I hope Jeff Horn's victory, though, bolsters the boxing scene in Australia, because that is a huge potential global market for boxing.
I will say this, though. This is going to be a bit controversial, but when you look at Joseph Parker's fight against Takam, Joseph Parker's fight against Andy Ruiz, and Jeff Horn's fight against Pacquiao, I'm not really...
You got to be careful when you travel to New Zealand
Don't
and
trust Duco.
Australia. Yeah.
Don't trust Duco events.
Yeah, that's the promotional company.
They have those are their 2 main guys, and they've gotten every decision out there.
Look, those weren't terrible decisions, though. Those weren't robberies, but they were fights that could have gone the other way, and obviously they didn't. So the hometown, listen, the home country guy does get the benefit of the doubt in close rounds.
Listen,
we know that.
Get the benefit of the doubt. Maybe the judges were treated to a nice steak dinner, a nice hotel room,
a nice payday.
JP, they always are.
They always are.
Yeah. They always are. And this is how the promoters do it. They say, listen, you know, here at the host hotel, the host casino, you know, everything is on us. You know, your room, your meals, or whatever. But, you know, you brought your wife, right? I did tell you to bring your wife, right? And I did pay for your plane ticket. I did fly you first class from another country, right? Okay, so if you want to leave the strip, or you want to leave this casino, or you want to leave this host hotel and check out this great city and go to a fine restaurant, here's an envelope with some money. It's on us, right? And you know what? They put a lot more in there than the price of a fancy steak dinner.
And by the way, if Jeff Horn wins the fight, we'll fly you back for his first defense.
There you go. Yeah. We're going to be doing a lot of events if my guy wins.
If my guy wins.
We're going to be doing a lot of big-time events.
So now that I've crapped on Duco events, sorry, back to you, Coach. So we're just around 30, 31 minutes.
Anyway, how was your vacation, Doug?
It was fun. It wasn't restful. We went to the zoo in Toledo. Cool. That was awesome. The heat out there is different than it is out here. It's sticky, it's humid, but it was great. We saw fireflies. Did you see fireflies? Yeah. So we hung out in Columbus and Yellow Springs, Ohio. I went to my 25-year college reunion at Antioch. Cool. It was cool.
Saw old
Everyone
friends.
look good?
Everyone looks great. Yeah, they look better than they did when they were college students. Seriously. And no, it was great. It wasn't restful, but family vacations never are.
Did you
And,
work out
JP,
at all?
you'll learn that.
Yeah.
I didn't really need to. I walked so much, you know,
Yeah.
like there's like this nature preserve. There's like a forest out by Antioch. You've probably seen it, the Glen Helen, whatever. It's a forest, nature. I don't know what they call it, but
So I want
you
you
go out there and you just walk. You walk
Yeah.
for hours in hot, sticky sun, and you feel like you've done a hard workout, you know.
I want you to show Neda is in such great shape. She's been
We
in
just did the track.
California now for
Sweet
a
talker.
couple months. She's going back to Washington, D.C. You missed Trump,
When?
right?
On Friday.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
soon.
You missed Trump.
Yeah, terribly. I really did. I got to get back.
Anyway, Neda's a reporter for NPR,
That's right.
and she was a producer also, and she's a great runner, incredible runner.
Aw.
When are you going to be back with us?
She's a safe
Soon.
driver, right?
Soon. I have always a safe driver.
She's a safe driver because of Doug.
I'm going to take her to the restroom.
Okay.
All right, folks.
Okay.
See you later.
Okay, I'm going to say it for Dougie.
Say it.
Dougie had to take his little daughter to the restroom. Remember, the most important thing, the single most important thing is driving carefully. You got to keep a lot of distance. You let everyone go first. You got to watch out for bikes, pedestrians. Never take a chance. I mean, it could just be over like that. So you can run, you can eat right, you can think right, and you can make a wrong turn driving and it's all over. Okay? And just, what's the other thing?
You got to be safe driving.
And no matter what you do,
Yep.
take the high road.
Take the high road.
And was Dougie incredible today?
He was awesome.
I mean, all you do is give a date and he knows the whole thing. I mean, it is freaky. It is freaky. I mean, he must be one of the smartest guys of all
He's a
time.
smart man. Okay,
And he's a
so
great guy.
take the high road
Yeah.
all this week.
And are you going to be here next week,
I'll
JP?
be here in 7 days.
You know, you're going to be here?
Yeah, 7 days.
You add a lot to this.
Yeah, we'll
person.
talk about Broner Garcia.
Yeah.
You're like the perfect director.
Yeah, you're good. Anyway, everyone have a great, great week. Be positive, be happy, and we'll see you next week.
See you next week.
Good show.
You know, when you asked me about Broner Garcia, I was thinking of